6:45 on Monday, September 11, and I'm going to be heading to lab. But I gotta say, I am not a morning person, but this sunrise, look, with the moon and there's Sirius there, just down to the bottom right of it. It's really pretty to watch this in the morning. This is what kind of makes me happy. So I'm going to be heading to school. So this morning we are going to be, I think, practicing Foley catheter and start, I think, a sterile wound kind of assessment and what to do with that. So I think we're doing both of those today, some practice on that. We're definitely doing some math. And I think there was like one more thing, but we only have 6 days left of lab, including today. So next week are the 2 remaining math mastery days in case you don't pass the first day, this Wednesday. And we have 2 checkoffs. We have a checkoff, I think, this weekend for Foley catheter, and then we have a checkoff next week for the wound, sterile wound. So that's all there is for checkoffs and for math, and then that's it. And then we start clinicals. So I'll let you know after the day is over this afternoon how everything went and what we did, of course. But I'm gonna head to my school now. I'm a little bit early. I'm bringing a toaster oven that my mom gave me. She got a new one, so she gave me her old one for our student lounge because there's a broken microwave in there and no other way to heat food. So it's not a microwave, but hey, a toaster oven is good too. I brought some foil, so at least now the students will have a way to heat up some of their food. Obviously, like, not rice or anything, but they'll have a way to heat some food if they need to eat a warm meal in the student lounge. So I'm going to do that a little bit early today and then head to class, and I'll pick up later. So I just want to do a quick recap because it's already 4:15. I got out of class late and I have to start making dinner and I got to get out of these clothes. But so we did a lot of practice on math. We spent like the last hour of the day working on math in small groups, and we did some math in class, and they have adjusted the rest of the lab schedule a little bit. So we were supposed to have just this week and next week, but they've actually, instead of having us go to our clinical sites for week 6 to start, we're all going to be meeting with our clinical instructor at the school instead of going to our clinical site on week 6. So they kind of like added an extra day to lab. And that's basically to assess our clinical uniform, like with our scrubs and everything, make sure that we're ready for clinical and go over how clinical is going to work and everything. Because normally they would have done that next Wednesday, but because we lost that week of in-person learning from the storm a couple of weeks ago, they don't have time to do that. So basically, our physical assessment video is the last video checkoff we're going to have. They were originally going to do a sterile wound checkoff via video and then do Foley checkoff in person. But I guess because of all the discrepancies with the grading and everything for videos, they are just going to have us do them all in person now. And they worked out a schedule so that all 50 of us can get our checkoffs done for sterile wound and for Foley catheter. So they just demonstrated Foley catheter to us today, and then they were already asking if anyone's ready to do it, like check off. So we're going to do checkoffs today and tomorrow for Foley catheter, and then officially on Wednesday will be Foley checkoff number 1. Wednesday is also Math Mastery #1. And then those both continue till next week. And then Wound Checkoff starts next week as well. So there's a lot going on in the next like 5 more days of lab. But we did a lot of Foley demonstration today. We did a lot of practice on Foley. You know, I say a lot like because there was a lot of time worth, but because there's 50 of us and only like 10 beds, it made it a little tricky to actually get in there and be able to do it. And they were giving us 10 minutes to do our Foley catheter. So that's the time limit we have. So I really only got to practice on the mannequin once. Tomorrow we have to bring our sim bag. So while I'm remembering it, I'm going to put it with my stuff. So we need to bring that. And that was basically it. It was just a lot of practice day going over math and Foley and how the rest of our lab is going to look. It actually went by pretty quickly because of that, I think. But anyway, someone brought in a new microwave and I brought in the toaster oven. So now the students finally can have some warm food, which is nice. And I'm going to go ahead and start making dinner after I get out of these clothes because I can't wait. And I will catch up with you tomorrow. Good morning. Another beautiful sunrise. 6:45, like always. So this morning, I know we're going to be doing a lot of Foley catheter practice. And anyone who's ready to check off can check off for that today. The official first check off for Foley catheter is tomorrow. And I only got to practice on a mannequin once, so I definitely want to get some time on a mannequin today. So hopefully I'll be able to do that. I know we're also going to start our sterile wound practice, so that'll be happening today. And we're going to do more math because our first math mastery is tomorrow. So I feel pretty good about math mastery. The only ones that gave me any sort of trouble were the ones with, you know, insulin or heparin. And I think I figured out, you know, where I was confused. So I don't feel so bad about those anymore. And then the only other kind of questions that were giving me trouble, and the insulin and heparin were because of units being used. But yeah, like I said, I think I figured that one out. And then the only other one that gave me any trouble were the ones that, you know, said the order is this, available is this per ml. And then it said, you know, the pharmacy says you can only give 50 milligram per minute. So what do you give per dose? You know, those type of things. Those were kind of throwing me off, but one of the instructors said that we're not going to have questions like that. So hopefully that's the case. I know, I think they try to all be on the same page, but it's really hard when you have 3 instructors to all always be on the exact same page all the time, especially when you get questions, you know, separately. So, yeah, so we're going to be doing that. I feel really good about, you know, the other questions. So we'll see how math practice goes today and if there's anything else that gives me trouble. But other than that, I think, you know, that's going to be most of the day. We're going to be doing a lot of Foley practice because there's only, I think, like 10 or 12 mannequins in our lab room. And, you know, there's 50 of us. So a bunny just ran in front of me. There's 50 of us, so there's just not enough space. But we only get 10 minutes to do our check off for Foley catheter. So hopefully that means people won't be taking so long, you know, taking their turn, and we can maybe move, you know, use some other rooms too that have mannequins. So anyway, that's the plan for today. I'm going to go ahead and get to school just in case any more bunnies run out in front of me. And I will let you know later today how everything went. Okay, so just to finish out today's video for Tuesday, the 12th of September. We started the day with a pop quiz, and it was basically on our nursing handbook to make sure that we all understand the standards that we are held to as specifically nursing students, and what that means. So basically that, because we all had to sign something when we started lab that said, yes, I understand the rules. Yes, I understand, the ethics behind it. We're all supposed to be respectful and blah, blah, blah. So we had a quiz on that just to make sure that we all do know that, because I guess they said there's been some incidences of either dishonesty or, sharing assignments or papers, or I don't know exactly, but they said it was a little bit of an issue. So they wanted to address that right off the bat. And then we did Foley practice right away. So we were all practicing on Foleys. People could check off on that if they felt ready for a first check off. And then after that, we practiced sterile wound care. So that's our next check off. It's our last check off. So we have a Foley catheter that our first check off technically is tomorrow, but anyone who wanted to get it done early can. All of our remaining check offs, the sterile wound and the Foley catheter, are both in person, no more videos. I guess there was a consensus among the instructors that there were just too many margins for error, which is kind of what I was saying, is that, some instructors on some days were a little bit more lenient than some instructors on other days, and there's too many variables. So today they started having people do the Foley demonstration in person on a mannequin, and it kind of eliminates the any biases that anyone may have had. Not that that happened, but that it just eliminates the possibility, so everyone's hopefully being judged on an even keel for Foley and for sterile wound. So we did that, and then we were going to do math practice, but instead of making us do it in class for the last hour, they basically said, look, you can either do your math practice here in class, you could take it home and do it, you could do Foley catheter practice here in class, wound practice here in class, you can go to one of the rooms on campus and practice in there, whatever you need. Basically, we're letting you have this last hour to decide what you want to do with it. So so I went ahead and came home because I needed to do some things at home before I start making dinner. Usually I get home at 4 and have to right away start making dinner, and then the kids are home, and then it's time to eat, and then we're cleaning up, and then the kids have like 1 hour before they go to bed, so we're spending time with them. So I wanted to utilize that time to work on my math kind of in silence. So I was working on that, and I'm just kind of going through all the steps of Foley in my head, because tomorrow is the first day for official checkoff on that. But other than that, I feel really good about math, so we'll see how I do. I have to have 100%. So we'll see how that goes. I am going to work on that worksheet and see if I got it right. And then if I did, then I feel really good. But other than that, I'm going to be working on Foley tonight as much as I can. And then tomorrow will be a big day with math checkoff, or math mastery and Foley checkoff. So lots to do. But that ends for today's video for Tuesday, and I'll get back to you Wednesday. Okay, there's our sunset, or sunrise, I mean. That's how early it is, but you can see right there is the moon, kind of like a Cheshire look, Cheshire cat. And up here, kind of where my tip of my finger is, there's Sirius. Good morning. So today is the day. It is math mastery number 1 and Foley checkoff today. So I don't know if I mentioned already, but they told us that if we don't pass math mastery first day, they're going to give us a remediation packet that we need to complete over the weekend and bring back on Monday in order to take Math Mastery number 2. I did do the whole math practice packet that they sent home last night, or not last night, but yesterday. And I finished that. I got 100%, every single one of them right, and I think there was like 20 questions. So hopefully, you know, if the questions are like that, everything should be fine. Of course, I'm nervous because I'm not a good test taker. Like, I get in front of a test and I just blank, even if I know the information. So I just have bad test anxiety. So hopefully it doesn't affect me too badly today. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I have my lab bag, I have my sim bag, I have my backpack, I have my lunch, I have my water, I have my laptop, I have my badge. I don't know what I'd be missing. I just feel like I am missing something. But it'll be too late once I get there because it's a 45-minute drive. But anyway, that's what's going on today. I'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully I can just get Math Mastery out of the way. And then we do our Foley checkoffs today, which I'm also a little bit nervous about. But I know from timing other people too that, you know, they were going really fast and they didn't really need to. They only used like half their 10-minute time limit. So I think if I just like take a few deep breaths and slow down and think about my next step, should be fine. Hopefully, but I'll let you know what happens. So I'm gonna head to school and I'll catch up with you guys after class and let you know how it went. Hey guys, I am relaxing on my couch now. Oh my gosh, it has been a day, a really emotional, just emotionally draining day. Right off the bat today, we had our Math Mastery number 1. And I want to say, like, gosh, it had to have been a third to a half of the class did not get 100%, and you have to have 100% on this. So they're remediating and they're going to take exam 2. I got 100. I'm so excited. Myself and my lab partner both did, so that was really exciting. We didn't want to make anyone feel bad, so we didn't really like talk about it, you know, to anyone besides ourselves. But yeah, we both passed it. We were in separate rooms and everything, but it worked out. I was almost tricked, but I went back and I actually redid each question, redid all the math, reread everything, and the one that I had wrong initially, I knew it just didn't look right. So I went back and reread it, and I realized where my error was, where I was being tricked, and I fixed it, and I got a different answer, put that one down, and that was the right answer. So thank goodness. And then we also had our Foley catheter check off today, and I was the last one on. So we have 3 instructors, right? So each one had a list of, I don't know, 10, 12 students that they needed to check off. I was the very last one, and it was right before lunch. So it was a long wait to be called for that, and, you know, went and did it. It wasn't without my own struggles because I got really flustered, and I did break down a little bit, and the instructor asked me if I wanted to try again after lunch, and I said no, I'd like to, you know, work through it and finish. So she said at the end that she admired that, so I passed that as well, so that is so exciting. So now there's just one thing left for lab that needs to be done, and that is, actually there's 2. So there's our cultural assignment, which they haven't even discussed with us yet because they need to get us through checkoffs first. But so there's the cultural assignment, and then there's going to be sterile wound checkoff. So the rest of the afternoon after lunch, we did a lot of practice on sterile wound, and those who missed a question on the math exam were able to see which one it was so that they can really work on it this weekend. And anyone who still needs to do Foley or anything else, we're able to practice that in class. I left about 20 minutes early because I practiced my wound and then watched some other girls who still needed to do Foley check off for a second attempt. So we kind of just watched them do theirs and kind of help them through it. And I needed to recenter and get out of there because my eyes just feel a little swollen just from getting flustered and breaking down a little bit. But the day is done, and now tomorrow is theory. Next week is our first theory exam, and it's worth so much. So I'm going to take this weekend, and I am going to practice wound a little bit, but we don't have our first wound check-off date until Tuesday, I believe. So I get to come in late on Monday. Anyone who doesn't have to do those gets to come in like an hour or two later, so that'll be so nice. But I'm going to spend all weekend studying for that exam because it's worth so much. And then I'll be working on sterile wound as well for tomorrow for theory. I'm going to be going through all of the sure path and the book and make sure that I'm really aware just in case they want to throw another pop quiz at us that I'm ready for it. So I'll be doing that tonight, and then tomorrow's theory, and then it's the end of week 4. Oh, and I also have to do the lab assignments for week 4, so that still needs to be done. But we're nearly there to the end of lab, and then it'll be just clinical and theory for the rest of the semester. So we're getting there. I'm gonna do this. I am determined. So that was today. I'm just gonna take it easy just for a minute before I start cooking because I really just need to take a deep breath. But I'll catch up with you guys tomorrow. Good morning. It's 7:45. Today is theory day, Thursday, so of week 4. And I just keep getting like this feeling that they're going to do another pop quiz like last Thursday. So I was looking through our chapter that we needed to be reading. I already did the sure path lessons and quizzes and stuff over the weekend last week, but honestly, the book and the sure path, even though the book is available like ebook style on sure path or Evolve, the lessons that they do are not necessarily like completely the same information as what the book has like physically. So I don't know if that makes sense or not. But anyway, I just have a feeling they're going to be giving us a pop quiz. So I reviewed all that last night while I was working with my twins' homework. And hopefully, you know, if they do give us a pop quiz, that it'll be relatively straightforward. And then they only posted the week 4 PowerPoint like 8 o'clock last night. So I printed all that out, luckily. And I have it in my folder to review, and hopefully today's just a really nice shorter day. It's only 4.5 hours instead of 7, so hopefully it'll go by nice and quick, and then I can just kind of breathe easy for the rest of the weekend, get my assignments done, my lab assignments, and do a lot of studying for my exam next week. We have a sterile wound in lab as well that is going to be due starting Tuesday. So kind of a lot coming up real quick, but I'm just excited for the end of the week, honestly. Like every week, just getting to the end of it is like the goal. And as long as I can get to the end of every week, I feel like pretty accomplished. So I'm gonna head to school now. Hopefully there's not a ton of traffic, and do a little bit of refreshing of the material when I get there, and then I'll let you know later how everything went. Hey everybody, I just realized that I never finished up my video yesterday after theory. So today's actually Friday afternoon now. I'm in the car line to pick up my kids from school. They don't get out for another 70 minutes, but I'm already the 30th car in line. So tells you something. And I only do this on Fridays just because my daughter has her tumbling class at 5 o'clock, and the kids don't get out of school till 4:10. And me being here 70 minutes early only means that we're going to be home 20 minutes before she has to be in her class. We'll be home at like 4:40, and then we have to like get her changed and out the door again to get to her tumbling class at 5. So it's a little bit of a ridiculous situation for Fridays, but that was the only time available for her tumbling. So anyway, I'm sitting in line here, and I just realized that I forgot to finish up the video yesterday. I want to say that it's not just me, because I've confirmed it with other of my co-students and even the professor, but we all had a great day. I came home from class and I told my husband, oh my gosh, this is the end of the 4th week of school, and this is the first time I feel happy at the end of the day. I don't feel like stressed out. I feel like I had a good, productive day, and I didn't have any issues with anything, and no one was freaked out. And it was like a really nice interactive lecture on Thursday yesterday. We did 2 group activities, but they were all low pressure. I mean, nothing that, it wasn't like you're being called out. You're volunteering the information, and I think it stresses some people out to be called out. If you volunteer the information on your own, that's another thing. So I think we all really appreciated our theory day yesterday. The professor even said that, she thanked us for such a great interactive lecture. And yeah, that was pretty much the end. We just went over basically clinical safety for the most part, addressing like ADPI, which is like the nursing process, and then kind of just went over some examples of emergency situations, like patients falling out of beds or falling in hallways, and assessing fall risks, and also making sure that clients are they don't have a knowledge deficit when we're educating them on any procedures or at-home care and things like that, making sure they store their oxygen tanks correctly, making sure they know how to put out a fire, making sure we know what to do in case of fire in a clinical situation. So it was just a really, really chill day. Everyone participated, but it wasn't a high stress scenario. So we all really enjoyed it. And it was just really nice to have a day like that after 4 weeks of intense stress to be in nursing school. So, I mean, I don't remember who I was talking. I mean, it may have been my mom like an hour ago. I'm telling you, my head is like a mumble jumble mess. But like an hour ago, I think I was telling my mom that like I'm 1 single month into nursing school, never having done any nursing school before, first semester, and I know how to put in a Foley catheter. We're about to do our sterile wound checkoff. I know how to do a head-to-toe assessment on a patient. I know how to properly don and doff PPE gear. I know how to properly wash hands. We've learned so much information. So it's really, that is why it's so stressful, because it's just so much coming at you. You just need to be prepared and find a way to organize yourself so that you can keep that information handy. Like our first exam is next Thursday, so I'm going to be doing a lot of studying this weekend. I don't have anything else planned besides a meeting with my community tomorrow for a short meeting. So the rest of the weekend is strictly for that. And I have my flu shot Monday morning, since I don't have to be to class until a little bit later, because I already completed my math mastery with 100%, and I passed my Foley checkoff. So they're going to be doing those 2 things first thing Monday for anyone who hasn't. So I don't need to be to class for a couple of extra hours. So I'm going to get my flu shot done because I have to have that done for clinical. So that's it. That's going to be my weekend. I've already finished my lab assignments last night and this morning. I finished those up. I'm working on some more modules in ATI that we have to complete by next Wednesday. And then it's just really going to be all about studying for wound checkoff and for the big exam 1 for theory. So that's all that's going on. Hopefully this has all been very helpful to anyone, because I know it's actually helping me to de-stress by talking about it. So I will catch up with you guys next week.